Admiral George Miller stood tall near the large window of the USS Intrepid, his gray eyes fixed on the massive alien ship that moved slowly toward them. The ship belonged to the Galactic Council, a group of alien races that ruled most of the known galaxy. George felt a mix of hope and worry in his chest. This meeting could change the future of all humans. Humans had only learned how to travel faster than light 5 years ago. They were new to the galaxy. When they found the Centauri star system and started to build homes there, they did not know it would cause trouble. Now the Zoraxian Empire, one of the oldest and strongest members of the Galactic Council, claimed that Centauri had been theirs for thousands of years. But when humans arrived, they found no signs that anyone had ever lived there before. Captain Lisa Ward walked up to George. Her blue uniform was perfectly neat, but her hands showed her nerves as she kept adjusting her collar. "They're ready to talk to us, sir," she said. George nodded and turned to face the large screen at the center of the bridge. The screen lit up, showing an alien with 8 limbs and shiny scales that changed colors in the light. This was High Counselor Vexthor of the Zoraxian Empire. Behind him stood aliens from 12 other races, all watching the humans with eyes or things like eyes that humans were still learning to understand. "Admiral Miller," Vexthor said through a machine that changed his clicks and hisses into English. "The Council has looked at your claim to the Centauri system and finds it weak. We have terms for your quick exit from the system." George kept his face calm, though he wanted to argue. "We are open to fair talks," he said. "Humans want peace with all galactic races." The talks went on for 3 days. George and his team of 5 humans sat across from the 13 Council members. With each hour, the Council asked for more. They now wanted humans to leave not just Centauri, but to stay away from 6 other star systems too. They wanted humans to share all their technology, but offered little in return. They even said humans must pay for damage to Centauri that George knew they could not have caused in their short time there. On the 3rd day, Science Officer Kevin Russo rushed into the meeting room. His face was red from running, and he held a small computer in his hand. He whispered into George's ear, "Sir, I found something. Centauri has large amounts of quantum stabilizing ore. It's rare and very valuable. The Zoraxians use it in their newest weapons. They never cared about Centauri before we found it." George felt cold anger rise in him. The talks were not real. The Council, led by the Zoraxians, just wanted the ore. They saw humans as easy to trick and push around. George stood up, making Vexthor stop in the middle of listing new demands. "I have just learned that Centauri has large deposits of quantum stabilizing ore," George said clearly. "Is this why the Zoraxian Empire suddenly claims a system they showed no interest in before humans arrived?" The room went very quiet. Then Vexthor's scales turned a deep red. "How dare you suggest such a thing?" he said, but his eyes shifted away when he spoke. Kevin showed his computer screen to the room. "Our scans show the ore is only in the places where the Zoraxians want us to leave first. The areas they say we can keep have no ore at all." Vexthor slammed a limb down on the table. "Your species is too new and simple to understand how things work in the galaxy. The Council has been kind to offer you any terms at all. Accept what we offer or face what happens when you don't." George looked at each alien face around the table. Some looked away, some looked down, and some, like Vexthor, looked angry that humans had found them out. None looked sorry for trying to trick humans. "We will take your terms back to Earth for review," George said, his voice cold and firm. "This meeting is done for now." As the human team walked out, George heard the aliens start to talk again. Some laughed in their strange ways. They thought they had won. They thought humans would give in out of fear. Back on the USS Intrepid, Lisa came to George's office. "Do you think Earth will accept their terms?" she asked. George looked at the stars through his window. "No," he said. "I don't. But what Earth will do instead, that's what keeps me up at night." 2 weeks later, the USS Intrepid reached Earth. George went straight to the United Earth Defense Building in what used to be called Washington, D.C. He met with the Defense Council, 12 men and women from all parts of Earth who made choices about how to keep humans safe. They tried to rob us, said General Frank Mason after George told the whole story. They see us as weak and new, easy to push around. What do we do? Asked Council Member Maria Lopez. We can't fight the whole Galactic Council, from what we... No, their weapons are far ahead of ours. Defense Secretary Olivia Cruz, who had been quiet until then, looked up from her notes. Maybe we don't have to fight them, she said. Maybe we just need to show them that trying to hurt us would cost them too much. How? Asked Frank. They won't believe empty threats. They won't be empty, said Olivia. She pressed a button on the table, and a new person walked in. He wore no uniform or fancy clothes, just simple pants and a shirt. But everyone sat up, straight when he entered. This is Dr. Alan Foster, said Olivia. He leads our new defense project. Alan nodded to the room. For the past year, we've been working on something new. Not better guns or bombs. Something that could change how space battles work. He touched a control and a model appeared above the table. It showed a strange device that seemed to bend light around it. We call it the Prometheus system, Alan said. It can shut down any energy weapon or engine within a large area. It doesn't destroy ships. It just makes them stop working for a while. The room was silent as everyone thought about what this meant. Does it work? George finally asked. Alan smiled slightly. We tested it on our own ships last month. It worked better than we hoped. Olivia looked at each person at the table. I suggest we put the Galactic Council's peace talks on hold. We tell them humans need time to think. Meanwhile, we put the Prometheus system on every human ship and colony. And then? Asked Maria. And then we show them that humans won't be pushed around, said Olivia. We show them that trying to take what's ours would be a very big mistake. The Defense Council voted. All hands went up to approve the plan. As George left the meeting, he wondered if the Galactic Council had any idea what they had started by trying to trick humans. Probably not, but they would learn soon enough. 2 months passed with no word from Earth. The Galactic Council members met often during this time, wondering what the humans were doing. High Counselor Vex Thor of the Zeraxian Empire told everyone that the humans were just scared. They know. They cannot win against us, Vex Thor said to the other alien leaders. They are hiding and hoping we will forget about them. Minister Trell of the Andorian Confederation was not so sure. The humans did not seem scared when they left, she said. Her 4 eyes blinked slowly. They seemed angry. Anger without power is nothing, said Vex Thor with a wave of his upper limbs. I will go to Earth myself. I will make them sign our terms. The council agreed to let Vex Thor lead a group to Earth. They took the biggest council ship, the Starhammer, to show the humans how strong they were. 5 other ships went with them. When they reached Earth, they found something strange. The space around Earth was empty. No ships guarded the blue planet. No stations filled the orbit. Where are their ships? Asked Grilltalk, a furry alien who served as Vex Thor's helper. Have they all gone away? Vex Thor made a clicking sound of happiness. They have run and hidden their ships. This proves they are weak. The Starhammer sent a message to Earth. A human voice told them they could land 1 small ship at a place called Geneva. Vex Thor and 5 others went down in a shuttle. The building where they met was large and old, with stone pillars and tall windows. But only 1 human waited for them inside a big room with a round table. She wore a simple gray suit and had short white hair. I am Defense Secretary Olivia Cruz, she said. Welcome to Earth. Vex Thor looked around. Where are your leaders? Where is Admiral Miller? I speak for Earth today, said Olivia. Her voice was cold and showed no fear. Vex Thor put a data pad on the table. It showed the terms the Council wanted humans to accept. We have waited long enough, he said. Sign these terms now. No, said Olivia. Vex Thor blinked all 3 of his eyes. No? You don't understand. These are not choices. These are orders from the Galactic Council. Your ships and weapons are nothing compared to even one of our battleships. Olivia slid a small tablet across the table. Earth and all human worlds have voted. We are done with your peace talks. We will not join your council. We will not accept your terms. Vexthor made an angry hissing sound. You have no choice. We always have a choice, said Olivia. The tablet I gave you says that all human space is now under the Prometheus Protocol. All council ships and people must leave human space within 2 Earth days. What is this Prometheus Protocol? Asked Grilltalk. That is not for me to explain, said Olivia. She stood up. This meeting is over. You have 2 days. Vexthor knocked the tablet to the floor. You cannot order us to leave. The Zoraxian Empire has ruled the stars for thousands of years. We will take what we want. Olivia did not react to his anger. 2 days, she said again. Then she walked out of the room. Back on the star hammer, Vexthor threw things around his room. How dare they? He yelled. A weak new race telling us what to do. Should we tell the council what happened? Asked Grilltalk. No, said Vexthor. I will show these humans what happens when they say no to me. Send a message to the Zoraxian 8th Fleet. Tell them to come to human space at once. 5 days later, Commander Peter Dunn stood on the bridge of the small human ship USS Horizon. His ship was the only one sent to watch the Zoraxian fleet arrive at the edge of human space. The Zoraxian fleet was huge. 20 large battleships and 40 smaller ships moved into a perfect line. Sir, they're sending us a message, said Officer Sam Green. Let's hear it, said Peter. The main screen showed a Zoraxian with black scales and gold marks on his face. I am Admiral Krethzak of the Zoraxian 8th Fleet, he said. You will take a message to your leaders. They have 1 Earth day to accept all our terms and leave the Centauri system. If they do not, we will destroy your colony on Proxima B to show our power. Peter kept his face calm. I understand your message, he said. But before you do anything, I need to tell you something. In old human stories, Prometheus was someone who stole fire from the gods and gave it to humans. Admiral Krethzak looked confused. What does that mean? Just think about it, said Peter. Then he ended the call. Take us back to safe distance, Peter told his crew. We have our orders. Watch but do not fight. The Horizon moved away from the Zoraxian fleet. Admiral Krethzak laughed at the small human ship running away. These humans are weak, he told his crew. Their words are empty. Forward. The huge fleet moved deeper into human space. They passed near the large ringed planet called Saturn. Everything was going as planned. Then, all at once, every ship in the Zoraxian fleet went dark. Their engines stopped. Their weapons shut down. Their lights went out. Even their backup power did not work. On the USS Horizon, Peter and his crew watched on special screens that still worked. The Prometheus system is working, said Sam, just like they said it would. Inside the Zoraxian ships, the aliens rushed around in the dark. The air systems had stopped. It was getting hard to breathe. The ships were cold and silent. On every main computer, a message appeared in Zoraxian language. Fire has many forms. This is your only warning. For 3 hours, the mighty Zoraxian 8th Fleet floated helpless in space. Then, as suddenly as it had stopped, everything started working again. The lights came on, the air systems worked, the engines could run. Admiral Krethzak was shaking with fear and anger. What happened? He asked his bridge crew. How did they do this? We don't know, said his second in command. But sir, many of our people nearly died when the air systems stopped. If the power had stayed off for 1 more hour. Krethzak looked at the reports coming in from his ships. No weapons worked. The jump drives that let them travel faster than light were broken. They could move slowly, but they could not fight. And they could not go home quickly. Send a message to the council, said Krethzak in a quiet voice. Tell them what happened. Tell them we are coming home. And tell them not to send any more ships to human space. The Zoraxian fleet turned and began the slow trip home. They had not fired a single shot. They had not lost a single ship, but they had lost something more important. They had lost their belief that they could not be beaten. On Earth, Olivia Cruz got the news from the USS Horizon. Good, she said to her screen where Peter's face showed. The Prometheus system worked perfectly. What happens now? Asked Peter. Now, we wait, said Olivia. The Council must decide what to do next, but I think they will be much more ready to listen now. The news of what happened to the Zoraxian 8th Fleet spread fast through the galaxy. Many races in the Galactic Council were shocked. Some were scared. A few were secretly happy to see the proud Zoraxians fail. The Council called an emergency meeting. All 13 main races sent their leaders. They met in the Great Hall on the planet Nexus, where the Council had its center of power. High Counselor Vexthor was no longer the one who spoke first. His scales were dull gray, not bright and colorful like before. The defeat of the Zoraxian fleet had hurt his standing. We must combine all our fleets, he said when it was his turn to talk. We must crush these humans before they become more dangerous. Minister Trell of the Andorian Confederation stood up. She was tall and thin, with blue skin and 4 eyes. Are you mad? She asked Vexthor. Did you not hear what happened to your ships? The humans shut them down without firing a shot. No one died. They showed mercy when they could have killed everyone. It was just luck, said Vexthor. Next time. Next. Time could be worse, said Science Director Zilva, another Zoraxian. She was smaller than Vexthor, with scales that were deep blue. Our best scientists have studied what happened. The humans used some kind of energy wave that stopped all our systems from working. We have no defense against it. She's right, said Trademaster Dorn of the Plex Union. He was round and had 6 arms with 3 fingers on each hand. If the humans can stop our ships without a fight, what is the point of sending more ships? They would just stop working too. The Council argued for hours. In the end, they voted. Only Vexthor and 2 others wanted to fight the humans. The rest voted to try talking again. But this time, said Minister Trell, I will lead the talk group, and we will be honest and fair. On Earth, President Daniel Wright sat in the Oval Office. This room in the White House had been where Earth's leaders had made big choices for hundreds of years. Now he had to make a choice that would change the future for all humans. Defense Secretary Olivia Cruz sat across from him. Next to her was Admiral George Miller, who had just come back from checking all the human colonies. Dr. Nicole Grant, who had helped make the Prometheus system work, was there too. The Council is sending a new group to talk, said Olivia. They will be here in 2 days. Do we talk to them? Asked Daniel. After what they tried to do? I think we should, said George. When the Zoraxian fleet came, we showed them we are strong. Now we need to show them we are also wise. Daniel looked at Dr. Nicole. What do you think? You made the system that saved us. Nicole pushed her glasses up on her nose. The Prometheus system works well, but it's not perfect. If we have to use it against all the Council races at once, it might not stop everyone. War would still hurt us even if we win. So we talk, said Daniel. But this time, we make the rules clear. 2 days later, a new Council ship arrived at Earth. It was smaller than the last one. Only 5 aliens came down to the meeting place in Geneva. Minister Trell led them. There was no one from the Zoraxian Empire in the group. President Daniel met them in the same room where Olivia had met Vexthor. But this time, all the top human leaders were there too. Admiral George, Olivia, Nicole, and 10 others sat around the big round table. Thank you for coming, said Daniel. I hope this talk goes better than the last one. Minister Trell bowed slightly. The Council wishes to understand what happened to the Zoraxian fleet, she said, and we wish to find a way for humans and the Council to live in peace. Dr. Nicole stood up and touched a control on the table. A 3D picture appeared. In the air over the table, it showed a small box with strange parts inside. This is part of the Prometheus system, she said. When we found out the Council was not being honest with us, we changed how we thought about spaceships and weapons. For hundreds of years, humans fought each other. We made weapons that nearly destroyed our planet. When we reached the stars, we hoped to find friends and teachers. Instead, we found the same old fighting, just bigger. She touched another control. The picture changed to show a Zoraxian ship with its power turned off. We didn't want to make better ways to kill. We made a better way to stop killing. The Prometheus system makes a special energy field. It stops weapons and engines from working. It doesn't hurt people. It just stops the machines. How did you make this? Asked a small green alien with a long neck. Our best scientists don't understand how it works. Nicole smiled a little. We studied the quantum stabilizing ore from Centauri, the ore that the Zoraxians tried to trick us out of. We learned it can change energy fields in ways no one knew before. The aliens looked at each other with surprise. The thing the Zoraxians wanted to take from humans had helped humans make their new defense. Every human ship, base, and world now has the Prometheus system, said Admiral George. If anyone attacks us, their ships will stop working. We could have destroyed the Zoraxian fleet. We chose not to. Minister Trell looked worried. The Council wants peace with humans, she said. But some races might be scared of this new power. You have. We don't want power over others, said President Daniel. We just want to be safe. We want to grow and learn and trade with other races, but we will not be pushed around or tricked. What do you want from the Council? Asked Trell. First, we want the truth, said Daniel. No more tricks. Second, we want the Council to accept that Centauri and the other systems where humans live belong to us. Third, we want to join the Council as equals, not as a weak race that can be told what to do. Trell thought for a long time. The other aliens whispered to each other. Then Trell nodded. These terms seem fair, she said. I cannot promise the whole Council will agree, but I will take your words back and speak for you. There's one more thing, said Nicole. We will share the Prometheus system with any race that wants it, but only the defense part, not as a weapon, but as a shield to protect people. The green alien with the long neck made a sound like bells ringing. You would share this powerful technology? Why? Admiral George answered. Because real peace doesn't come from fear. It comes from making sure no one can hurt anyone else. If everyone has a shield, no one needs a sword. The meeting ended with a feeling of hope that was not there before. As the aliens left, Minister Trell stopped and turned to President Daniel. The Council made a bad mistake with humans, she said. We thought you were simple and weak because you are new to the stars. Now we see there is much we can learn from you. And much we can learn from you, said Daniel. That's what peace is all about. 3 weeks passed after Minister Trell left Earth. Humans waited to hear what the Galactic Council would decide. Some people on Earth and the colonies were nervous. Others were excited about the chance to join the wider galaxy as equals. Admiral George Miller walked through the new space station that humans had built near the moon. It was called Unity Station. Workers were getting it ready for the next meeting with the Council, if there was one. Captain Lisa Ward walked with him. Do you think they will accept our terms? She asked. I hope so, said George. But the Council has many races with different ideas. Some might not want humans to have a voice. Like the Zoraxians. George nodded. Vexthor lost face when we stopped his fleet. He might try to block any deal with humans. They reached a large round room at the center of the station. Workers were setting up a big table with many chairs. The walls were clear and showed the stars and Earth turning slowly below. It's a good room for making peace, said Lisa. A young officer ran into the room. Admiral, we just got a message. A Council ship is coming. Minister Trell is on it. Already? Said George with surprise. We didn't expect them for another week. There's more, sir, said the officer. She's not alone. The whole Council is coming. All 13 races. This was big news. The full Council rarely traveled together. It meant something important was happening. George turned to Lisa. Get the station ready as fast as you can. I need to tell the President. 2 days later, Unity. Station was ready. President Daniel Wright stood with his team as the Council members came through the main door of the meeting room. Minister Trell led them. Behind her came aliens of all shapes and sizes. Some had fur, some had scales, some had skin like humans. They wore clothes that showed their rank and home worlds. Last came High Counselor Vexthor. His scales were bright again, but his eyes looked less proud than before. "Welcome to Unity Station," said Daniel. "We are honored by your visit." Minister Trell bowed. "The honor is ours, President Wright. The full council has come to speak directly with human leaders." Everyone sat around the big table. Drinks that each race could enjoy were served. Then, Minister Trell stood up. "The council has discussed the terms that humans offered," she said. "We have also talked about what happened with the Zoraxian fleet. After much debate, we have made our choice." The room was very quiet. Everyone waited to hear what she would say next. "The Galactic Council accepts the human terms," said Trell. "We recognize that the Centauri system and all current human colonies belong to Earth. We invite humans to join the council as full members with equal rights and voice." Daniel smiled and was about to speak when Vexthor stood up. "But we have one more thing to say," said the Zoraxian. His voice was firm, but not angry like before. "The council admits we were wrong about humans. We saw you as weak because you are new to the stars. We tried to take what was not ours to take. For this, I personally say I am sorry." The humans looked at each other with surprise. No one expected Vexthor to say sorry. "Thank you," said Daniel. "Humans accept your words and your offer of membership. We look forward to working with all races for peace and growth." The meeting went on for hours as they talked about how humans would join the council. They agreed that Admiral George would be Earth's first voice on the council. They set up teams to work out trade deals and to share knowledge about science, art, and history. When they were done, they signed a new treaty called the Unity Accord. It was the first time in 500 years that the council had added a new race as full members. As people started to leave the meeting room, Dr. Nicole Grant walked up to Science Director Zilva, the female Zoraxian who had spoken against fighting humans. "I wanted to ask you something," said Nicole. "Would your science team like to work with ours on the next version of the Prometheus system? We could use your knowledge of how your ships work." Zilva's scales turned bright blue with surprise. "You would share your work with us, even after what happened?" "That's what the Unity Accord means," said Nicole. "We share what we know. We learn from each other. Together we make things better than we could alone." Zilva's scales turned a warm gold color. "I would be honored to work with you," she said. In another part of the room, Admiral George was talking with 3 other aliens when Vexthor came up to him. "Admiral Miller," said the Zoraxian, "I must know one thing. When our fleet was dead in space, you could have destroyed us. Why didn't you?" George looked into Vexthor's 3 eyes. "Because that's not who we want to be," he said. "Humans fought each other for most of our history. We nearly destroyed ourselves more than once. When we reached the stars, we promised ourselves we would try to be better. But you made the Prometheus system," said Vexthor. "A weapon?" "No," said George. "A shield. There's a big difference. A shield protects, it doesn't hurt. That's the point you missed. Strength isn't about who can hurt others the most. It's about making sure no one gets hurt at all." Vexthor was quiet for a long time. Then he said, "I am old, Admiral. I have seen many things in my 200 years, but I have never seen a race turn away from power when they had it in their hands. Maybe that's why humans are in the council now," said George. "We brought something new." Later that night, after all the meetings were done, Lisa found George looking out at the stars from a quiet corner of the station. "Big day," she said. "The biggest," said George. "The president just told me I leave for Nexus in a week to take my place on the council." "Are you ready?" George smiled. "No, but I'll learn. We all will." He pointed to the stars. "Look out there, Lisa. Thousands of worlds. Millions of people who aren't human. So much to learn, so much to share. And all because we stood up for ourselves. When we needed to," said Lisa. "And showed mercy when we could have shown force," added George. "That's the real lesson here. The one I hope the Council and humans both remember." 1 year passed since humans joined the Galactic Council. Many things changed in that time. Admiral George Miller spent most of his days on the planet Nexus, where the Council had its main meeting place. He lived in a tall building with windows that looked out on a city full of beings from all 13, Now 14 council races. Today was special. George put on his best uniform with all his medals. Today the council would open its new meeting hall. The old hall had seats based on how strong each race was or how long they had been in space. The new hall had seats in a circle to show that all races were equal. Captain Lisa Ward was with George. Earth had sent her to be his helper and to learn how the council worked. She would take his place someday. "Are you ready for your speech?" Lisa asked. George nodded. "I think so. It's short." President Wright said to keep it simple and clear. They walked together to the new hall. It was a beautiful round building with a clear dome that let in light from the two suns of Nexus. Inside, seats made a perfect circle. Each seat had the sign of one of the council races. The human sign was the Earth with a star over it. All the seats filled as the council members came in. George saw Science Director Zilva, now the leader of the Zoraxian group. High Counselor Vexthor had stepped down from his post after the Unity Accord was signed. This was a big change for the Zoraxians, who usually kept the same leaders for many years. Minister Trell called the meeting to order. "Today, we open our new council hall," she said. "This hall shows our new way of working together as equals. To mark this day, Admiral George Miller of Earth will speak to us." George walked to the center of the circle. All eyes turned to him. Some were like human eyes. Others were very different, but all waited to hear what he would say. "1 year ago," George began, "humans were new to the stars. We were alone and unsure if we would find friends or enemies. We found both. We faced a test when the council first came to us with terms that were not fair. We stood strong. We showed we would not be pushed around." He paused and looked at the Zoraxian group. "But we also showed mercy when we could have chosen force. And because of that choice, we stand here, today not as enemies but as partners. Not fighting each other but working together." George touched a control on his wrist. A screen appeared in the air above him. It showed pictures of things humans and council races had done together in the past year. "In 1 year, we have started 30 new science projects together. We have set up trade that has made all our worlds richer. We have shared art and stories that help us understand each other better. And most important, we have started to share the Prometheus system with all races who want it." The screen showed a small ship near a space station. The ship fired at the station, but the shot stopped in mid-space as a soft blue light came from the station. "Now 15 worlds have the Prometheus shield," said George. "Not as a weapon, but as protection. When more worlds have it, war will make less sense. Why fight if no one can be hurt? Why build weapons that cannot work?" He turned off the screen and looked around the circle again. "Humans are proud to be part of the council. We have much to learn from all of you, but we also have things to teach. One of those things is that real strength is not about having the biggest guns or the most ships. Real strength is about making a galaxy where guns and warships are not needed." When George finished, the hall was quiet for a moment. Then Minister Trell stood up. "Thank you, Admiral Miller. Your words remind us why this new hall is so important. In the old hall, we sat based on power. Now we sit as equals, each with a voice, each with something to give." After the meeting, George and Lisa went to a party to celebrate the new hall. Leaders from all council races were there. They ate food from many worlds and talked about plans for more work together. Science Director Zilva came to George with Dr. Nicole Grant, who had come from Earth for the opening. They had worked together for months on the new version of the Prometheus system. "Our team has made the shield stronger," said Zilva. "It now works from twice as far away. And it uses half the power of the old system," added Nicole. "We could never have done this alone. We needed Zoraxian knowledge of how energy moves through space." George smiled. "This is exactly what I talked about in my speech. Together, we are better than alone." Later, George stood on a balcony looking at the stars. Lisa joined him. "What are you thinking about?" she asked. "I was thinking about how close we came to war," said George. "If we had fired on the Zoraxian fleet when we had the chance, where would we be now?" "Still fighting, probably," said Lisa. "And many people would be dead. Instead, we found a better way," said George. "A human way." "Do you really think there will be no more wars?" asked Lisa. That the Prometheus shield will stop all fighting? George shook his head. No. There will always be some who try to fight. But we've made it harder. We've shown there's another path. A green alien with a long neck came to the balcony. It was Lon Tai, one of the council members who had first voted against humans. Admiral Miller, said Lon Tai, I must tell you something. When you first came to the council, I thought humans would bring trouble. I thought you were too proud, too quick to stand up for yourselves. And now? Asked George. Now I see that pride can be good when it comes with wisdom, said Lon Tai. Humans stand up for what is right, but you also know when to step back. This is a rare thing. After Lon Tai left, Lisa smiled at George. Looks like humans have made some real friends out here. More than friends, said George. Partners, equals. That's what we wanted all along. He looked up at the night sky where stars shone bright and clear. Somewhere out there was Earth, still small in the big galaxy, but no longer alone, no longer easy to push around. Humans had found their place among the stars, not through force, but through the perfect mix of strength and mercy. We didn't get the peace terms we wanted, said George softly. We got something better. We changed the meaning of peace itself.